It's ZynVaded week on the Game Room from the fantastic independent game maker We Have Issues Publishing. Like, subscribe, and comment all week for your chance to win the choice of a 2-player starter box or the new Don't Let the Zed-Bugz Bite starter box. You'll also get your choice of 2 Mercs models when the Kickstarter ships. The winner will be chosen from the YouTube comments on this week's videos, so get those comments in for your chance to win. It's ZynVaded week on the Game Room.
Welcome to the game.
Alright, so today we're going to paint the other half of the ZynVaded starter box. And these guys have been primed green. They came to me when I got the box. They were already primed green. If you watch my other videos, they were pre-built and pre-primed. I don't know exactly what color green that is, but you can find a green that you like. The colors we're going to start with, we're going to do a little differently than we did with the white ones. I'm going to start with the Null Oil to fill in all of the armor plates and just give it that initial wash, and it'll probably make it a little easier than what we did with the white, because we had a problem with getting it all over the place. Then we're going to do black. Any black will do. I just happen to have dead black handy. We're going to use the same gray that we used for the gloves and some of the cloth pieces as we did with the other set. So this is a gunship gray, but we'll use, you can use any dark gray you want. Gunmetal, of course, for the weapons and his mechanical arm. And then for his particular skin tone, we're going to stay with what we did for the white one from the previous video. Since these are the same type of bugs, just this was a female version, we used Flesh Terror's red. So we'll do that again for him for his face. And just to give you a recap, these models are different, but depending on the sets, you get the save them and then the kill them, but they do have similar weapons. They are similar bugs. The commander will do the same colors for the face and the goggles, but everything else will be geared towards green. And then for the sniper, this is the female version of this guy, so we'll do her in that same type of green, which happened to have been the Warp Lightning green. And for the commander, we used the contrast Magos purple. But we're just going to do one of the models, and then at the end we'll show you what they all look like when they're done. So, without further ado, let's get started.
Okay, to start with, I'm just mixing the Null Oil about 2-to-1 with water just to help it flow a little better. Thin it down just a touch, because I don't want, as we saw in the white, I don't think I thinned it down quite as much. I was about 1-to-1, but I was probably not quite that much. But I don't want to turn the green really dark. I just want it to shade in all of the areas. So it actually comes out a lot better here. So 1-to-1, 2-to-1, thin it down to how you like. Now when it comes to putting washes on, also try to tend to stick with one area, one limb at a time, because if you put it all on and then you move to another area, you come back, it starts to dry, and depending on your weather, temperature in the house, whatever, it may dry pretty quick, and you may not have time to move it around the way you want to. So I try to stick with one limb at a time, get it all on there, and then wipe off the brush and come back and kind of touch up the areas, because you don't really want it to pool. So what you see me here, as I'm trying to do, is take it off of the flatter areas so that it doesn't make them dark, but keep it down into the recesses. So here, once all the models have dried, you can kind of see what they'll look like, where those recesses have been darkened up by that Nuln Oil. And it really, really helps make those models, those pieces, those areas stand out. We're going to move on to black. And you may need to thin your black down with just a touch of water. I did. And I'm going to use these, as you've seen on the other models, on these those ridged areas, which are the places in between the armor, on the shoulders and the joints. You're going to paint all of those black. You want the black thinned down just enough to make sure it flows down into those recesses. But since we've already washed the model and dried, those recesses are already dark. So if it doesn't get down in there, it's not that big a deal because the Nuln Oil has already made those recesses dark. But we're going to do that for all of the models, and we'll take a look at it when it's dry. Okay, and here you go. Now we've done all of those for all of our models. Incidentally, I happen to have been watching the first Hobbit extended version, An Unexpected Journey, which is, I love the Hobbit movies, but it took me the entire movie to paint and these guys to completely dry, which I thought was just kind of interesting. So you kind of get an idea for how long it takes, because I'm doing all three models at the same time. Here I'm using that gray from Vallejo that we've used on other models, and we're going over all the cloth pieces for the armor. So over their shoulders, anything like that, or their biceps, and the gloves. I'm going to do the gloves in the same gray, just to break up the model just a little bit. You can use whatever colors you want. These are the colors I chose, and we'll take a look at that here in just a moment once that's complete. And here you go. And we will come back and wash the gray and the other colors that we're going to apply later. We'll do that as a last step. But since I wanted to use a little heavier wash on those areas and a lighter wash on the green, that's why I started with the first wash. Now we're going to use the gunmetal. And we're going to cover the weapons and any other silver parts, like the little controller there on his arm, and the guns, his massive mechanical arm there on the left side. So anywhere that you think should be silver, paint silver. Now's your chance. This is another Vallejo color, model color. Army painter, doesn't matter, pick the silver that you like the best. Alright, now with those silver parts completed, we'll take a look at all three models. Again, there's not a lot of colors added into these. It's really just whatever you want to do. You can go as far as you want with the coloring. Also did the bottle cap, which he's standing on, which I thought that was a great addition to the base. He's also got a coin underneath that bottle cap too. But they're just, the models are fantastic, and you can go as far as you want. I'm going for tabletop with this. Again, this video was recorded back in 2019, right after I first got the set. and I just never published the video, never finished them, so I'm doing it for our ZynVaded week. What I'm doing here is I just took some white. Now I'm going to repaint their skin because their skin's all green. Repaint their skin so that we can put the washes on them that I mentioned earlier. So very carefully, you know, with a very thin brush, not a whole lot of paint on it, just very gently, very carefully get in there, paint the skin areas. Try not to get it on your green. If you do, wipe it off quickly, otherwise you'll need to touch it up with whatever green you base coat your models with. Alright, starting with our first contrast paints, those are the 3 colors we're going to use, and the Flesh Terror's red on the support, and the Warp Lightning on our Scout model, and for our... And I'm just trying to keep the consistency between the two, because if you read the fluff on it, they're the same types of bugs, they've just split factions, so I'm just, you know, just kind of keeping them the same. When I paint the other armies, the yellow and the red, I just kind of went with whatever colors I thought looked good. Your models, your bugs. Bugs are all sorts of different colors. Do whatever you like. This is what I went with. Okay, as I mentioned before, now I'm going to use Nuln Oil pretty much directly out of the pot to shade, or to basically to shade and to highlight the gray and the silver that we've put all over the model. So this, again, is more direct because I wanted a deeper contrast for these. I did want to tone the metal down a little bit, a little less bright, really get into the crevices and really make that silver show up well. So Nuln Oil directly out of the pot. If you want to thin it down a little bit, if you don't want it as dark, just add a little water, you know, on your palette and mix it up, and you know, you can do the same thing just with a little less. Alright, and with that Nuln Oil dried, you can really start to see that contrast of the shading, what it does to that metal, what it did to the metal pieces, and the gray, where it really sits down in those crevices, so you don't have to use a bunch of different colors. It will help do that shading for you. You could go back with some silver now, hit the flat points, the high points, to kind of brighten it back up. I did not. Again, this was done 2 years ago, trying to get it done very quickly, so that we could start playing right away. Actually, we were already playing. I just wanted to get them painted so that it would look better when we were playing. And our last step, black to our black, black to our black, back to our black, to do the bases. I didn't do anything fancy with the bases. I just used all of mine. I just painted them black. It's sometimes I like to do stuff with the bases like they're outside, but these guys are really like inside. They're anywhere. They're on your coffee table. They're on your kitchen counter. They are on the table at the restaurant, wherever you're playing. So I really don't do a whole lot with these guys' bases. I just paint them black because it looks good. But that's where we're at. And here they are, complete. The entire combat team, all done in, including drying time, just over 3 hours. Like I said, I was watching the Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, the extended edition through this, and here they are. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helps get your ZynVaded models painted up quickly. Remember, please like, subscribe, drop me a comment down below, and as always, have a wonderful day. Bye now.